There are good things in this bill, and there are some very troubling elements to this bill. I encourage people to vote no. I'm particularly troubled by the preemption language. I did not participate in the conversation over the amendment, but did want to just highlight that this is a tension that exists in many of the laws in our state, from building codes to the age of purchasing cigarettes, to the statewide Clean Indoor Air Act. I recall when I was active with Senator Dibble and others working hard on extending the Clean Indoor Air Act to restaurants and bars. The population of Minnesota supported that, but the legislature couldn't be brought along until many local communities reflected their own more local population's desires to do so. And with that grassroots groundswell, the legislature finally responded as a statewide leadership consensus developed, lagging behind the will of the people, but nevertheless finally making that change. I suspect that will be the case with minimum wage as well. To the extent that we stifle local government innovation and abilities to tailor ordinances and laws and precepts to their own communities' needs, we as a state will be poorer for it, because we will lose those laboratories of innovation that are often referred to on a national level, where the states are the laboratories of innovation. Well, within Minnesota, our local communities are those laboratories, and we need to give them an opportunity to do so. And then, in this case, businesses will have the opportunity to decide whether they wish to or wish not to engage in business within the city of the cities that have raised their minimum wage to $15. And if they wish to do so, they will find, I believe, that the benefits of participating in business in those cities will far outweigh the additional costs. But that will be their choice. Those standards are set by the people who live in those communities, and I applaud them for that. The other thing that's most troubling to me was the vote on the floor here to completely water down Senator Marty's amendment with regard to the cause of climate change. Very few, if any, of the votes that we take on this floor will be remembered in 50 years. But the issue of climate change is existential for us as a human race. We have a very short window left to take significant steps to protect our Earth. Many of us in this body don't pay close attention to where our food comes from. We just go to the grocery store. We don't pay close attention to the dates of ice out on our lakes. We don't pay as close attention as we should to the changes in climate around us. And you know, we see extra snow and we say, well, yeah, we had snow like this when I was a kid and it's been missing for a little while. It's good to get some back. But those are bigger signs for us. They say that in, I think, in about 50 years, the area around us where we live now will not have forest anymore. We're all going to be plains without any significant tree stands. And it can be that way all the way up to the north shore of Lake Superior. These are very significant climate changes, and with that will bring changes in disease and infestation and abilities to grow certain kinds of crops, as well as other impacts on our lifestyle. Tourism will be impacted by that as well, and our northern lakes will not be as plentiful with certain kinds of fish because the lake temperatures will change as well. But most importantly, in the end, it's going to be us as human beings that are going to have to make this adjustment if we are to survive as a human race. This is indeed truly existential. And while our cities may not be flooded by the rising sea levels, the coastal cities will be. And those populations will be moving inland, and they will affect us as well. So I'm really, really disappointed that we couldn't at least come together as a body and recognize the primary, the key, the significant role, the central role that human activities play in causing this climate change. But even perhaps most importantly is the fact that regardless of the cause, we need to come together on how to mitigate this climate change, how to minimize it, how to perhaps even reverse its impact. And this bill does not take those necessary steps. And frankly, we are flat out running out of time. We are running out of time. We can't keep saying, well, our constituents don't believe in it, or we got to pay more attention to the profits of this business or that business. We just don't have the time to keep saying that. We've been saying that for 10, 20, 30 years already, ignoring the warnings of the broad consensus of the scientific community. So as I say, in 50 years, when people look back at what we've done, what votes we have taken on the floor of this Senate, this head-in-the-sand vote is going to be one of the most significant ones. And I hope that there will be an opportunity when this bill comes back from conference committee for all of us to be able to take a vote that looks forward toward the preservation of the human race rather than the denigration of the human race.